think you could survive a blind veteran hunting you in his house? Maybe you could outrun some underground doppelgangers. Okay, but what about escaping a biblical apocalypse in Jerusalem? Well, after watching thousands of horror films, I found a ton of horror movie monsters where you're absolutely dead, no matter how built different you think you actually are. And the most terrifying one, it's not even what you're gonna be expecting. But before I ruin your survival fantasies, hit subscribe or you might end up like that guy who commented, "Not me," on The Night House. Spoiler alert, he's dead now. For legal reasons, that's a joke. But please like and subscribe. Now let's start with the first one on our list, and trust me, it gets so much worse as we go along, because we're starting with something you probably think you could handle, a simple game of truth or dare. I can already see you typing, "Just don't play the game, dummy." Well, genius, let's see how this works out for you. Truth or dare isn't your average sleepover game where the worst thing that happens is revealing your middle school crush. This supernatural version comes with a demon named Kalax, who makes your toxic ex look well adjusted. And no, blocking their number isn't an option this time. Think about it, you're dealing with an entity that can force you to answer any truth or complete any dare. And before you say, "I just lie," the demon literally knows everything about you. It's like having your browsing history read aloud at a family dinner, except the consequences are slightly more fatal. For real though, if that happened to me, I probably would never see my family again. They don't want to know what I've been searching up. I can still hear you saying though, "I would just refuse to play." My brother in Christ, that's like telling the IRS you're refusing to pay your taxes. The demon doesn't need your consent here. It's already got your soul on a binding contract the moment you learn about the game. You can run to another country, change your name, live in a bunker, doesn't matter. This thing has better tracking than your mom when you missed curfew in high school. The dares start simple enough. Maybe steal something, break something, hurt someone's feelings, but they quickly escalate to, "Hey, why don't you jump off that building?" Or, "Wouldn't it be fun to play Operation on your best friend?" And hearing that, you may be thinking, the truths are gonna be way easier then, right? Because they're not actually gonna make me do anything. Well, they're designed to destroy every relationship you've ever had. It's like Twitter drama, but with actual death instead of your career just being over. And the real kicker, the rules aren't even consistent. The demon changes them whenever it wants, just like a D&D player with a god complex. You think you'd figure out a loophole? Surprise, there's another dare for you, and this one involves a wood chipper. Guess what happens? But demons forcing you to play party games is the least of your worries, because I'm gonna tell you about the most elaborate escape room that you're ever gonna do. Now add death traps in, psychological torture, and a shadowy organization. Basically, you aren't surviving escape room. And we're talking about the good movie, not the bad one, because that one sucked. This one's good. I can already hear those people typing, "But I'm really good at puzzles." That's adorable, Kevin. But while you're busy feeling proud about figuring out that basic math problem, the room's already filled with upside down rain that's actually acid. Oh, and hope you know American Sign Language, because that's randomly crucial to surviving one room. Wait, you didn't learn ASL for your escape room hobby? Sounds like a you problem. Guess what? You're dead. GG, go again. The worst part though, Minos is watching. Who the f is Minos? Well, Minos is taking notes like the world's most sadistic Yelp reviewer. They're not testing your escape abilities. They're studying how you die. It's like a twisted job interview where the only severance package is your package getting severed. You get it? And let's talk about that time pressure. Regular escape rooms give you about an hour. These rooms give you exactly enough time to almost survive. Miss one clue and suddenly you're playing human Tetris with a wall of spikes. Take too long solving a puzzle and the room becomes a giant easy bake oven with you as the main course. Also, why did we have those as children? Who thought giving children an oven was a good idea? Because I think a lot of them ended up in house fires. Anyways, if you think escape rooms are rough, I invite you to think about dangerous blind people. Didn't know they existed? Well, let's talk about Don't Breathe. Meet Norman Nordstrom, a blind veteran who makes Daredevil look like an amateur. Because while you're busy feeling clever about tiptoeing around his house, he's already counted your heartbeats, mapped your location by smell, and calculated exactly how many steps it'll take to reach you. Spoiler alert, it's not many. Remember that time you stubbed your toe trying to get a midnight snack? Now imagine doing that while playing the world's deadliest game of Marco Polo with someone who's turned their entire house into a death maze. This man has memorized every creaky floorboard, every corner, and every possible hiding spot. It's his world. You're just dying in it. I just stay completely quiet. Cute, because this guy can literally hear your anxiety sweating. While you're holding your breath thinking you're ninja level stealthy, he's already figured out your location from the sound your polyester pants make when you walk. That's right, your poor fashion choices will literally get you you killed in this movie. And don't even think about fighting back. This isn't some fragile old man. He's a combat-trained veteran who bench presses grief and deadlifts trauma. You think you're tough because you did a self-defense class at the Y? Well, he's been training his remaining senses since before you learned to walk. The only thing your karate lessons prepared you for is falling correctly when he throws you through a wall. The real nightmare though, his house is basically a giant mousetrap, except the mouse is you and there's no fucking cheese for you. Every room is a potential dead end. Every door could lock behind you, and every window, well, let's just say he's really good at home security. But if you think being haunted by a superhuman blind man is terrifying, wait until you meet what's lurking in the night house, because sometimes the scariest thing isn't what's trying to kill you. It's realizing that nothing itself wants to kill you. Imagine fighting something that isn't just invisible. It literally is nothingness itself. While you're busy checking behind doors and under your bed like a rookie, this entity is laughing in a void. It's like trying to punch a shadow, except the shadow is punching back and it's got a PhD in psychological warfare. I just leave the house. Right, because running away from nothing works so well. This entity doesn't just haunt a house. It haunts the spaces between spaces. Those weird gaps in your peripheral vision, that's its living room. That empty feeling in your chest at 3 a.m., that's its doorbell. The worst part, this thing turns architecture into optical illusions that would make MC Escher need anxiety medication. You think you're walking into your kitchen? Surprise! You're actually stepping into a void that's been waiting to introduce itself. Your house becomes a funhouse mirror maze, except nothing's reflecting what you expect and everything reflects what you fear. Here's where it gets really messed up though. This entity doesn't just want to kill you. It wants to make you understand why you should want to die. That doesn't make any sense, but hear me out. It's like having an existential crisis with teeth. While you're busy setting up your sage and all your witchcraft stuff to try to save yourself, this thing is literally rearranging reality to make emptiness look inviting. And don't even get me started on the mirrors. You know how you avoid looking in mirrors at night? This thing makes that seem like solid life advice. Every reflection becomes a window into nothing, and nothing is very interested in having you over for dinner permanently. But if you think an entity made of nothing is bad, I'm here to tell you that it can get much, much worse, because this is a big trigger warning. Eden Lake is a messed up movie. And what makes it so messed up is teenagers, and that is not even a joke. You know those kids these days comments your aunt always posts on Facebook? Well, Eden Lake makes those look optimistic. We're not talking about teenagers playing their music too loud or shouting at random squirrels they find on the street. We're dealing with sociopaths whose idea of fun makes Lord of the Flies look like a summer camp brochure. Just reason with them. Oh, dude, you are screwed. These aren't misunderstood youth who need a heart-to-heart about their feelings. While you're trying to channel your inner guidance counselor, they're already playing rock, paper, scissors to decide who gets your car keys. And trust me, that's going to be the least of your problems in a couple minutes. Think you can outrun them in their own backwoods playground? That's adorable. These kids know every trail, every shortcut, and every dead end. It's like playing hide and seek with wolves who have GPS, and you're not hiding, you're just postponing the inevitable. But here's the real kick in the teeth: the parents. Remember how in every other horror movie, adults are useless? Well, in Eden Lake, they're worse than useless. They're actively part of the problem. Imagine running to the police for help, only to find out that the chief's kid is your main tormentor. It's like trying to report a crime to the criminal's family reunion. And let's talk about your survival skills. Sure, you went camping that one time in 2019. Maybe even have one of those survival bracelets you bought off of Amazon. But while you're trying to remember which moss grows on the north side of trees, these kids are hunting you down with the efficiency of a search algorithm powered by pure hatred. But I'm here to tell you that it gets much, much worse, because teenagers are going to be the least of your worries. Be My Cat. This is a film that scarred me. Meet Adrian, a filmmaker who makes your most pretentious film school classmate look well adjusted. Well, you're thinking, great, another creepy director. He's already planning how to turn you into his masterpiece. Literally. This isn't just another exposure for pay scam. It's more like exposure until you stop breathing. If you're here thinking I'd spot the warning signs immediately, sure. Just like you spotted all those phishing emails in your spam folder. Adrian doesn't show up twirling a mustache wearing a warning, actually a murderer t-shirt. He presents himself as every other passionate indie director with a dream. A little bit crazy, but ultimately looks kind of harmless. It's just that his dream involves making Anne Hathaway notice him through increasingly homicidal methods. I don't know why this would impress a woman, but I don't think you can reason with these people anyways. The scariest part, he documents everything. Imagine a serial killer who's also a YouTuber. That's basically Adrian's whole vibe. While you're trying to nail that perfect take, he's treating your performance like a snuff film director's cut. And trust me, there will be no blooper reel. Think your acting skills can save you? That's cute. This guy has studied studied more footage of Anne Hathaway than her own agent. He knows exactly what to say, how to act, and what buttons to push to keep you in frame. It's like having a director who's memorized the manipulation handbook and decided to add some murder improv. And the real horror of this movie, the way everything feels almost normal until it's suddenly irreversibly not. One minute you're doing a screen test, the next you're realizing that the method acting exercise he's proposed is actually just straight up torture. And good luck calling your agent. Reception is surprisingly bad in murder basements. But do you think a deranged filmmaker is terrifying? Wait and see what happens when an entire community decides you're their next sacrifice, because Jugface is about to make your small town family drama look like a sitcom. Welcome to Backwoods, America's most exclusive cult, where the local potter isn't just making vases for your mom's book club. He's crafting your death warrant in clay. And this time, you can't just unlike and unfollow to escape. The pit demands what the pit demands. And honey, it just demanded your whole existence. I would just leave the community. Right, because running away from your problems works so well with your student loans. This isn't some Facebook group that you can just ghost. It's an ancient entity that makes your clingy ex look positively reasonable. The pit doesn't just want you, it's got your whole family tree on speed dial. Think your small town was gossipy? This place makes Mean Girls look like a support group, except instead of spreading rumors, they're spreading the word about whose face just showed up on today's pottery special. And trust me, this is one art show you don't want to be featured in. Here's where it gets spicy. The pit doesn't just kill you, it makes sure everyone knows you tried to dodge its friend request. While you're planning your great escape, it's already sending out save the dates for your sacrifice. Got a cold? That's the pit. Stubbed your toe? The pit. Your crops failing? Oh, you better believe that's the pit. And let's talk about that community support. These folks make HOA boards look flexible. Try explaining to grandma why you don't want to be sacrificed to an ancient hole in the ground. She's already picked out her sacrifice watching outfit, and she didn't raise no pit disappointing grandchild. And that's a bunch of horror movies you definitely wouldn't survive. But if you think you could still survive them, I invite you to go to the comments and explain exactly how you'd survive each one. And while you're on your way down there, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel anyways. If you think you can survive more horror movies that you definitely can't, watch this video on screen now.